Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT, and you can refer to me as Miss T. Sorry for the delay. I forgot to put up set up the broadcast. I don't know how I forgot that. But you guys see how many McGee may face Jermall Charlo. Who was expecting that? I wasn't. Are you guys expecting that? Well, we're gonna talk about it and some other things. First, let's turn to Welcome back. Welcome back to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. As I always say, you can refer to me as Miss T. At the beginning of every show, we always talk about the water check. Water check, water check. We always talk about the two most important times to drink water. And I will repeat this and repeat this and repeat this. A lot of people are not feeling their best or, succumbing to certain illnesses. And it starts off with hydration, you guys. It always starts there. That's why when you go into the hospital, one of the first things they'll do, no matter what's wrong with you, they're going to hook you up to an IV feeding you water. So the first time to drink water will be before you get out of bed, before that foot hit the floor. I'm going to need you to chug a lug about 8 ounces of water. Think of your body as an engine. Get the engine lubed up. Get it started. Room, and enjoy your day. You need water to move all these parts. The second time I'm going to say the most important time to drink water is when you're in your bed, right before you go to sleep. Not when you're watching TV, as a lot of us do, but right before you go to sleep. So you do your 8 ounces then, because you got a lot of stuff going on at night. You're recharging your system, you're rebooting it, you're rejuvenating it, you're flushing out toxins, and you're burning hella calories. So you want to drink water, again, water being like a lube. You want to drink the water to help everything move smoothly through the night. But here at Boxing Fans Talk TV, we advocate for 100 ounces of water per day. That's right, 100 ounces of water per day, because we think you should, if you're a fully grown person especially, you should drink 128 ounces, which is a gallon of water per day, and you can do it. So, for those of you who are good size adult, like I can't drink that much water. Think of it like this. There's people who weigh 115 that drink a whole gallon of water every day. So you can do it. You got to discipline yourself and teach yourself how to drink it. Right now, as usual, I'm at my usual 10 8-ounce bottles of water, 80 ounces. And just so y'all know, like, to reiterate, it don't mean that I stop here. I still drink water long after this show because I don't go to bed until probably about 11:30, 12, and I probably threw back maybe 3 or 4 more waters. So I'll be reaching my goal. Sometimes I can't, it depends on how I feel. But around this time every day, I'm always at 10 bottles. So I just want you guys to make sure y'all get your water intake. It's going to help clear up your skin. It's going to open your pores. It probably help you, change, stuff like your texture of your skin or your hair growth and this, that, and the other. It get rid of acne. It's going to dilute any toxins. So yeah, let's get our water on, people. But you guys see the thumbnail. Jaime Munguia may face Jermall Charlo. Who was expecting that? So when I hear Jermall Charlo's name, I think of that triangle. I can picture a triangle. And at the top of the triangle, it doesn't really matter who's where on the triangle, but at the top is Charlo. And the two sides or the two ends is Andre and Benavidez. The 3 people that Canelo Alvarez said they need to stop pretty much worrying about him and go fight each other, which was good advice. I try to find the holes in that advice. I did. I try to be like, what is he trying to say? Oh, y'all color people fight each other. He might be. He might be. He said that's the risk you run when you say some dumb shit like that. I mean, in one hand, it's very smart. I mean, it's arrogant, but he's like, I ain't pressed for y'all. Y'all pressed for me. Get off my nutsacks. That's what he's saying. Fight each other. On the other hand, Canelo, you are talking about 3 men of color. So all the color people need to go fight. Who they need to fight each other. Now, Canelo technically is a man of color, but he don't look like it. He certainly don't move like it. And so that make me think he don't feel like it. The reason why Canelo has a lot of fanfare, because he looks like a white guy. He's proud to be Mexican. Proud to be Mexican. And I bet you at one point in his life, he probably wish he just blend right in with the Mexicans. But he looked like a white guy amongst them. But he's proud to be Mexican. Y'all notice the Latino women he seemed to gravitate towards. I mean, I think he had a blonde or two, but I think they be dyeing their hair, but they usually darker featured women, Latinos. Not dark, like where they look like a David Benavidez dark, but like a darker featured women, like they have black hair or something like that. But Canelo for the most part is proud of his heritage. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I salute him really for that. But he told these guys, go fight yourself. Stop worrying about me. And then, as I'm reading today, Jaime Munguia name is now thrown in the mix. I don't have another triangle to build. I don't know. Am I supposed to draw a line off the side and say, Jaime, we're going to put you there? I don't know. How did he get in the mix? How did he become all of a sudden a potential opponent for Charlo? I couldn't tell you. All I know is, as far as I know from that article, Jaime Munguia wants to fight Charlo. He wants to fight him. We don't hear nothing about Charlo looking for him. Charlo wants to fight him. But Charlo hasn't had a fight in, come June, it'll be 1 year. Talking about Jermall Charlo. So in June, it'll be 1 year. There's really no excuse for that, why he hasn't fought in a while. But, come June, it'll be 1 year. So I'm just wondering, how did Jaime Munguia, he should be preoccupied with what he already have on his plate. This is the guy I talked about a week ago, who couldn't even get off the stage of weigh-ins before passing out. The guy who had dehydration problems. If he got dehydration problems, he gonna have a problem with Charlo. And to me, that makes for an easy fight for Charlo. It does, because Jaime Munguia, I'm assuming he fights at 160. He might be fighting at 160. But he damn near died, in my opinion, on that stage. I'm not a doctor, but he couldn't even make it off the weigh-in stage before he passed out. That to me is close to death from dehydration and trying to cut weight. Because one of the first things that'll happen to you is that your body will not be able to properly regulate your temperature. Now, unless you got a good reason, like I got a fever, I'm sick, I got an infection. Unless you have a good reason for why your body ain't regulating its temperature, and nobody did nothing to you, you was just sitting there trying to cut weight and shit, and you just slipped yourself into a state of not being able to regulate your temperature. It's, to me, it's like a coma. Like how people can slip into a coma, for all kinds of reasons. And sometimes people don't wake up from comas. But that's how I look at, you slipping yourself into such a physical state you can't come out of. So for him to be going through that at the weight class, because I'm assuming in my head, Jaime Munguia weighs 168. But I don't know if it's 160 or 168. Either way, them 8 pounds ain't gonna make no hell of a difference. You going through these changes, Jaime Munguia, you better not get in the ring with Charlo. You might not want to do it. But if you're gonna be a boxer, you gotta do what you gotta do. So the offer, though, oddly enough, came from PBC. It came from PBC. Now, Charlo is with PBC, so we can say Charlo. But it came from this is something PBC trying to put together, and they want it for June or July. But there's already an order for Munguia to fight somebody, and that's Xanabic, because we know Andre has moved up. So yeah, he must be 160, because we know that Andre was ordered by the WBO to face Xanabic. He has another name, I just can't pronounce it, so I'm saying Xanabic or Xanax. Xanax. So the WBO ordered that, right? And only way that either Demetrius, let me get it right, Demetrius Andre either had to fight him, or he was deciding he had an option of giving up his belt and going to, trying to make a beeline to Canelo, of course. But the rules seem like they changed a bit and when it concerned Canelo, just a wee bit. Because WBO to WBO should be it's instant, like you get that hell of a line privilege. But again, I haven't gone back and read it thoroughly. My cursive read first time around was, if I'm WBO in one weight division and I move up to the next division, I can go straight to that champion. But apparently you can't, because Canelo is the 168 champion, undisputed world champion. So he has the WBO belt. But Demetrius has to go fight Zach Parker, which I just reported yesterday that those contracts were finally signed by Zach Parker. But it was already signed by Boo Boo Andre. So now that those contracts are signed, it's a foregone conclusion that Boo Boo is no longer at 160. So if he's not at 160, I think Zanabek could have either been elevated, or they was gonna make him fight somebody. And I think I put out weeks ago that Munguia and Zanabek was ordered by the WBO to face off with each other. But Jermall Charlo has the WBC, I believe. And now that's the thing that they're trying to make, like order. But right now it's the promotional company. BBC is pretty much advocating for this fight. Will it happen or not? I don't know. But this is an easy fight for Charlo. It can seem tough because Jaime McGill seemed like a tough guy, and maybe he'll give Charlo a little competition. But Charlo's, both of them, are tough in the ring. Now, true enough, I don't like them as far as like people. They're mean-hearted people. They're not good spirited people, in my opinion. So I don't want to break bread, but I don't want to autograph. I would never want to meet them or anything like that. However, I can't take away nothing, absolutely nothing that they could do in that ring, which is a lot. They could do a lot in that ring. So when it comes to his progress and his abilities and shit, Jermall Charlo, and Jamel for that matter, are a force to be reckoned with. So Jaime Munguia is too, to a certain degree. He's a good challenging fighter. He's fought with Eddie Hearn and all that. He actually takes his fights to Mexico often. But Jaime Munguia just had that mishap in this last fight. And that, for that reason alone, makes me say that Charlo will damn near kill that boy. I believe it with everything I got that Charlo will hurt him. Because the dude is having a hard time making weight. He's having a hard time putting himself at risk. He can't even fake the funk enough to wait till he get off the stage, make it to his room, and collapse. This nigga collapsed on stage. I'm talking about Jaime McGill. And the person that's in that kind of condition, because I mean, if the weight was hard to get, should we say now that Jaime McGill should be fighting at like 175? That's a big dude. And I told you, my first introduction to Jaime McGill put me in the mind of that Bruce Lee movie where the dude cheated and kicked him in the back. He be in a lot of movies, and he you know you know what he was in? He was in a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. He look weird as shit, especially when he get all excited. He might even be that big ass dude that was in Enter the Dragon. I don't know. He be in a lot of karate movies. I can point that motherfucker in the lineup. But he remind me, Jaime McGill remind me of him when he came on the scene. Cause all I was like, talk about weight bully. Woo. Ooh. I was like, how is this big ass motherfucker in the 147 division? I was this cornbread eating taco tortilla chip, from scratch eating dude fighting at 147. He ain't never had the stature of somebody that was at 147. I was like, he gonna murder these motherfuckers. I didn't even want to see no fights he was in. But he couldn't stay there long. I don't know. He might be bigger than what he's supposed to be. He might be big as shit. And still is in the building. What's poppin', King? He said Tong Po. That's his name? Tong Po. Yeah, man, Tong Po. Tong Po be throwing his hands up like, come on. Like, root for me. He be looking crazy as hell. That he like he want to be a bodybuilder. But he just a big ass dude. Every time I see Jaime McGill, that's what I think of. He got like a picture page face. Remember that cartoon? Picture pages, picture pages. Time to get your crayons and your pencils. Y'all remember that? He weird as fuck. Let me tell you, when his ass passed out and they set that dude up, he ain't even look like himself. I wouldn't, at that point, I'll say I couldn't pick him out in the lineup. I don't know what he looked like. That dehydration was on his ass so hard, and yeah, I don't think when you got them kind of problems, you need to get in with a killer like the Charlos. The Jermall will kill him. I don't know what y'all think. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Stop reckless eyeballing and hit the damn like button. Come on. I don't know what y'all trying to do, but hit that mug. Come on, stop being. I don't know why you not hitting it. Take a half a second, bring your ass up in here, hit the like, and share it. Or, you know what? Give me feedback on the replay. I know y'all be watching and shit, so come on, hit that like button. But anyway, Tong Po, that's his name, and still, Tong Po wanted with Charlo. But I haven't heard Charlo say he wanted with Tong Po. I just find it interesting that PBC now wants to make a fight. I find it interesting that PBC was catering. I was going to say something else. I was going to say slobbing the knob of Canelo. Well, damn, I just said it. slobbing the knob of Canelo, but didn't have the fortitude to make a match with Charlo. Or maybe, Canelo was adamant about, look, I don't give a fuck who y'all got in mind. Better not be no goddamn Benavidez or Charlo. I ain't fighting neither one of them niggas. I can see, that's just how I picture Canelo talking in the background. He might not be, but Canelo ran away with 40 million, and Caleb got the 10 million. I'm the one who say I don't think Jermall Charlo could probably beat Canelo. I don't think he can. I don't think he can. He the Charlos walk around like Captain Caveman, a bunga. They walk around beating their chests. A lot of bravado on the scene. Chrome Magnum out and everything. And so then you get to Charlo. Then you get to talk about Canelo. Now Charlo turned into the Easter Bunny, talking all nice and shit, catering to Canelo. Then it hasn't escaped me neither that his brother had said what he said when they was beefing and mad at each other. And twins. I guess they go more harder than just regular siblings. But Jamia was like, "You ducked, like you was a bitch. You was scared." I was like, "Ooh." He pulled the curtain back, didn't he? But again, the triangle is Charlo, Andre, and Benavidez. And now we're going to have to throw somewhere on one of these angles Jaime Munguia. But let me match Jaime Munguia up against Andre. So them two fighting. I think Andre dust him. I think Andre will dust him. Benavidez. As long as Benavidez stay off the I think he would dust him too. You know why? Benavidez, he doesn't strike me as a complete fighter. Y'all have heard me say a lot of times, I like complete fighters. But I used to be like repping hard for Benavidez. Now I'm gonna say this: hate is a strong word. So I rarely hate anybody. I can not like you. And Benavidez, after some of his coach was saying, they decide to play the race card, and he just as much a nigger as the next person. So I just didn't understand that, nor am I gonna try to understand that. So that's how you want to roll, Benavidez. So you don't need my support because I can't get behind shit like that. That's coon shit. That's coon shit. And when you like black and you see people that's mixed, like black people can see black people in mixed people, if that makes sense to you. So I can see a mixed person, and if it's some nigger in there, I can see it. And if it's something else, I might can't see it. But so do Latino people see that too. And it doesn't matter if you mix with black and white, black and Latino, black and Asian, black and whatever, Indian or whatever. I'm me as a black person, I can see that in them. So Benavidez, the reason why I bring that up, so Benavidez try to play the race card as if he don't got the nigga gene in him, and he got his nigga moment because Canelo told all three of them sinners to go fight each other. Stop worrying about him. Get off his nut sack. You know, that's what Canelo pretty much said. And that's what they're going to have to do. And Canelo don't care how many tears you cry, how many letters you write to Santa Claus. If you tell your president on him, he don't care. When he say he ain't fighting none of y'all jokers, he ain't going to fight y'all. So, but Benavidez, I liked him because he got the job done. He get in there and whoop your ass. That's what it was for me. But now he just come off as a coon a little bit. He ain't hardcore coon like Chris Colbert was. I'm still laughing at his last outing. But he got some coonish ways. Benavidez. And right now I'm not like that much press for him. So he's about to face David Lemieux. And Canelo is gonna face Bivol. Who else is like Triple G is gonna be facing Murata. So everybody's otherwise busy. So maybe Jaime Munguia could be a better match for Benavidez. Benavidez got his height, and even though he squares up, he throws a barrage of punches. Like for referee, he just come off as a person that these fighters don't hurt. Now I think Andre can hurt him, and I think Charlo probably could hurt him. Maybe Jaime Munguia could hurt him. I don't know, but Jaime can't take that one side of the triangle, so now we got the Charlo. And out of the three, I put Charlo at the top. Like I said, it wasn't no particular order. Your mind just worked the way it works. I drew a triangle, and some kind of way Charlo name went to the top. So he gonna fight Jermall Charlo. I think Jermall will hurt him. I think he'll seriously hurt him because dude got weight issues. And he already slated to face Zanovic for the WBO title. So he's about to become a champion, or is the PBC, knowing that he's ordered to fight Zanovic, is trying to set the whole Charlo thing with him. You know what I'm saying? Because if he fights Zanovic and wins, that means he's a champion. And then what better way to make Charlo's career shine than to make him a unified champion at 160? So I don't know. The PBC, there you go again. Me and my song titles. There you go. Again. Oh, there I go again. Look, I can't sing, y'all, so y'all bear with me. Who sang that song? There I go. I can't remember the song. Is it Force MDs or something? Anywho. So there's something working with this Munguia and Jamar Charlo that, I think maybe I hit it with the because Munguia is in line to fight Zanovic for the WBO title. And we know it's a done deal. It's because it's ordered, one, and they've been making. I said something about this potential fight a while ago, and Andre has moved on, so we know that that's done. And I don't think Munguia, maybe Zanovic, I don't think he can handle Charlo. I don't think either one of them could. But that would make Charlo a WBC and WBO title holder. And I mean, I guess shout outs to the PBC for trying to pick up that hardware. They got a date, and I'm saying this as an update. I don't know if I had updated, but we knew that Tank and Rolly was on next. But they got a date May 28th. It's gonna be on Showtime pay-per-view. So if we didn't know that, we know now. But I'll be interested in following that. I'm gonna keep my eye on Jaime McGill. But if dude don't get his shit straight, I think he need to I don't know why he can't make his weight, but he might not be disciplined in what he's doing. He need to either go ahead and move up. Move up maybe 2 weight classes. That's a big dude, I'm telling you. Well, it looked like to me. But anywho, the Fury and White fight will not have any British judges. Let's think about that. They're not going to have any British judges. It is going to be held in Wembley Stadium in London, England. Once again, I guess I have to refresh or re-update the fact that I don't know what the fuck they did with his band license, how they got that fixed or whatever. Evidently it's fixed. Talking about Tyson Fury. Because this fight is going to be held in Wembley Stadium in London, England. And for that, he has to have a license. So he must got his license back. But them not having British judges, why? And this stuff is coming off the tail end of the Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall's fight. I hope you guys know that. Because they don't want no fiddle daddle going on up in these fights these days. Like, we all know that once a fight is done and it's in the can, it's in the can. Ain't no revamping that shit. They not gonna overturn decisions, even though, like the Mikael Fox, we seen this last year. Dude beat the dude from pillar to post, all 12 rounds, and they gave the decision to the guy who got his ass whooped. And then they had to go back and change some things, like I think they call it a no contest now, but they wouldn't even overturn it. I don't understand that. When someone actually won and they didn't get a fair decision and you can clearly see they won, how hard is it to give that person that decision? But again, when you open the door to that shit, you never know what's gonna come through. You start turning over decisions, that can in itself start becoming corrupt. Maybe that's their way of saying, look, it's a done deal. When the bell ring, is done. But if you're gonna offer reviews and all these commissions and all that, they're gonna have to have some kind of things that they can do to rectify situations, other than just say we'll look at it. But no British judges. Both of them are from the same place, and so they wondering who gonna cheat for who. I don't get it. Like, I would not trust this shit because it's for the WBC title. So Mauricio in their hands is all in it. They ain't gonna make no money with taco meat. I'm sorry. Dillian White, they ain't gonna make no money with taco meat. They just not. Nobody gonna pay to see him. And Mauricio is about that dollar bill, y'all. That's all he care about. Money, 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 money. You know what I'm saying? That's all Mauricio Suleiman, a.k.a. Mr. Cantone from the Harlem Nights. That's all he care about. That's it. And this no British judges. This was confirmed by Frank Warren. He would know. They are still up in arms over this highway robbery at the hands of Josh Taylor. What they did to Catterall. Can't really say that Josh Taylor was in on it because nobody know, but he certainly benefited from it, and even he talking crazy as hell, like he actually won. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. With that Josh Taylor, I've never heard some of these things that they're doing with that fight, but it's affecting other fighters. It's affecting other fights because they're not gonna have no British judges. So what judges they gonna have? Australian, Canada, U.S. Ooh. And even with that, you got Mauricio way over here, ducked off in Mexico. So he can find some scandalous people from there up into the States to way over across the pond. Ain't no telling what you're gonna get with Mauricio. They running the show. Dillian White can't bring nothing to the table. Tyson Fury, for that matter, can't bring nothing to the table, but don't nobody know that. Birdman is in a building. Salute King. So I don't know if you heard how much you heard, Birdman, but Tyson Fury and Dillian White fight British judges. But that is due to what happened with Josh Taylor and Catterall. They don't want no hidden surprises, nobody cheating for nobody. It's crazy. And the fact that he had Wimbledon Stadium in London, England, so that tells me Fury got his license back. Now, I mean, that's just crazy. That one fight to make people put up their guards and all that. This is why you don't cheat in boxing. Exactly why. But anywho, everyone is eyeballing Joe Joyce here lately. Remember that I was talking about that AJ is going to have some interim fights while he wait on Usyk. Usyk is making his country proud by going over there to serve, putting his life on the line. He's letting the belts be secondary. Shout outs to the sanctioning bodies, but not right away stripping him of his shit. Just gonna be in a holding pattern until they come back. A lot of people think that he can come back during the summer, in one of those months, or maybe even September. But I can tell you, if this war look like they got to dig in deep and be there for a while, he not gonna them belts gonna be stripped from him. I know by the end of this year they're gonna be, because they're not gonna sit up there and hold that, not for that long. But we was talking about potential fighters for AJ, and it was a whole list, and Deontay Wilder was at the top. AJ don't want that. AJ don't want it with none of them. And if AJ fights any interim contenders or champions or whoever, it wouldn't be he not gonna fight Tyson Fury, but he could. Let me take that back. He could. But whoever AJ faces in the interim, whether he win or lose, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think he need to be strategic. I think he should definitely not fight Tyson Fury, because you don't even want to give him the satisfaction to have ever been in the ring with you. You want all that shit to be new and fresh and something he got to adapt to on the fly. You can look at somebody all you want until you get in there with them, you really can't call it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what that sparring does for a lot of these fighters. A lot of them have sparred together over the years, so they already know what they facing when they get in the ring with certain folks. But AJ, he's bound to be champion again because he gets first crack at Usyk. Here's the thing: we don't know what kind of man we getting back in Usyk. He might be a shell of himself. He might be even more crazy. We just don't know. But if AJ fights him and wins, then of course he'll be, ready to fight. I guess I don't know if he want to be undisputed, because it seemed like he dragged his feet a little bit between Wilder and him. But No matter who he fight, this is the thing we take away with us. No matter who he fight, it doesn't change the needle on anything. It doesn't change anything about his status. Whether he lose or not, he can fight any of them. If he lose, it doesn't change his status. I would pick somebody, to be honest, just to stay active, if that's what he's doing. And we can't put no negativity on AJ because he's just trying to be active. And I don't even like AJ, but let me just being fair. Pick somebody at the bottom. You know, who cares? Nobody gonna care. I would not pick nobody that can get kind of head of the line privileges over the contenders and former champions y'all got right now. So if you pick somebody like at ranking number 20, you do a fight just to stay active. Don't even try to sell out no big arena, try to make it a money grab or whatever. Pick a mediocre fight. You know, when you pick a big fight and lose, we just, I don't think much of him anyway. A lot of people don't think he's the true heavyweight champion anyway. So pick some mediocre person. No offense to whoever that may be. Pick Makabu. Sorry, I'm over here drinking. Makabu or Makabu. Pick him. Get in the ring and, get your shit off. And then rest for, 3 so months, come back and do it again until Usyk is ready to come back. But if you fight Deontay, he got your number. If you fight Tyson Fury, he got your number. If you fight Joyce, he got your number, or Dubois, or any of these top guys, or Sanchez, or any of these top guys, they got your number. So when you get your belts back, trust me, they're going to be making a beeline for you. And if you fight, and it's all live and televised and stuff like that, like a mediocre person, they're going to be putting on a show so they can come back later and sell the fact that they want to fight you. I don't know what AJ got to do. If they not going to strip Usyk, I wouldn't fight nobody. AJ, take this time to take a vacation. Go spend it with your son. Basking in ambience. I mean, what they going to do? Nothing and nobody is going to change the fact that they're not stripping Usyk of his belts. They're giving him time, and then you get first dibs at it. Nothing will change that. So I don't even know why you would be pressed for a fight. Unless that's Eddie Hearn pushing that shit. Maybe under contract they got to fight so many times. I wouldn't be pressed. I'm be like, shit, I'm going to wait till Usyk get back. We're going to both, we're going to both take a break. I mean, it ain't no, like, a break of joy for Usyk, but you know what I mean. We're going to both take a break from boxing. If y'all hear screaming, that's my daughter playing her games. And I keep hearing it. Like I said, Tank and Roller was an update May 28th or whatever. So, I don't know. That's how I feel about the AJ thing. And y'all know I'm not even a big fan. Taya's in the building. What's popping, King? He said, I see Jaime Munguia fans already making excuses for him. Yeah. Somebody at the door. Hold on, y'all. I can look at who at the door from here. And then as y'all hear, my dogs was going the hell off. Hold up. Damn, why does it do that? Hello? Hello? Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. Ooh. Gotta love those ring cameras. So I think I read this. He said, I see Jaime Munguia fans already making excuses for him. They need to. He need to go figure out what weight class he need to be in. Because with his issues with weight, Jermall will hurt him. Jermall will kill him. He'll kill him. I that's what I say. I just see that as sanctioning murder. Because dude, you don't even belong there. He was so dehydrated he lost the way he looks. Okay. Uh, Tay, talking about experience. If your guy good enough, he can beat Charlotte boy. Got 42 fights. How many more he needs? 100. Sounds like ducking to me. You talking about this? What they say about Jaime? Jaime was like, I'm telling y'all, my first introduction of Jaime was at the 147. I said he don't belong there, and I was like, I don't want to see nobody he fights, nobody. And he was gone out of 147. I haven't seen him since then. You hear he was fighting on the zone and shit. And I said, oh, that's where they moved his ass. I don't even follow the dude because I don't know who the fuck told him to try to be a 147 pounder. That was just stupidity on a whole nother level. Tay says salute. Said he fought 42 different opponents. How much more he needs? One. Yeah, he don't need. They are not making an excuse for him. Um, he needs to find out what weight class he needs to be at. But it's all about the it's about the hardware. They grab for the hardware because, like I said, Zenobic and Munguia is ordered to face each other. Have been. We already knew this before his last fight that he was going to be ordered to face Zenobic. And then all of this stuff was contingent upon what Boo Boo Andre was going to do, and so he we know what Boo Boo is doing now. Hold on, hello. Hello, are you gonna go get it? Everybody get in touch with me right now. Hold on. Yes, yes. Sorry, y'all, for the interruption. Wow, everybody came all at once. Okay. Yeah, so if they're gonna make excuses, y'all make sure y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe button if you haven't already. Please hit that like button. Hit the like button, please. Pretty please. um, and when y'all look at it on the replay, because some of y'all do, leave some comments. Let me know how you felt. But Jaime Munguia, his first and foremost thing on the agenda is to pick a weight class. Pick a real weight class, or he gonna kill himself. I also talked about this female who was boxing last October, who was damn near in the same predicament. She was laid out on the floor, and the doctors had to call her fight because she couldn't even regulate her body temperature. You can put yourself in a state of being that you can't reverse it. You're gonna ride that ride out, and that ride out can be the death of you. So dehydration is nothing to play with. And this dude, from what I've been hearing, been having the dehydration problem for a while. That means he don't know how to properly take weight off, or in my opinion, he don't know how to pick his weight. Because when he's his stature and his true size coming up in the 147, I guess you are the man sitting next to the man. But when you that size and you get in there with people that's relatively your size or a tad bit bigger, you're a little bunny rabbit. You ain't nothing to shake a stick at. And I think that's what Jaime found himself in. He's kind of like a weight bully, but it's not working for him. You know, a lot of people are weight bullies in the ring, and it works for them. I ain't gonna say it's nothing totally wrong with it to a certain extent. It's not flattering. I'm gonna say it like that, but it's not wrong. Like like Earl Spence even said, I walk around with 180, 190 or whatever. That's the fighter we all know. And but why would you be 147 then? Well, maybe for him, he know that's the best optimal way. But his lifestyle dictates that he's gonna be a bigger guy. So, but it works for Earl because he's able to get down and then, you know, by the next day hydrate. But that won't work forever because you keep getting older. Once you hit them 30s, I don't care who you are. All that shit that was working for you in the 20s, that's gone. Kiss that shit goodbye. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about the money. It's about the money and the belts. And PBC wants it on their side. Because they're the ones orchestrating this. They're the ones pushing for this. I haven't once heard it out of Charlo mouth. If he picks Charlo, we see more inclined to fight Charlo than Boo Boo. These guys keep telling you who they think is the best by not even coming out and saying it. Yeah. Yeah, in a sense, I see what you're saying. I see about the person they avoid. Spence is a weight bully if these other guys are weight bullies. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, weight bullying is is an acceptable art these days. I had said for years that I want them to go back to the old way of how do you do it? Like the old way of weighing in the day of the fight and then going from there. And everybody kept telling me, no, that's not such a good idea, this, that, and the other. And I was like, why not? It'll make you physically responsible. I mean, shit, who can't get behind wanting to be physically responsible? But I have since changed my mind. And to be honest, seeing not just Jaime McGill, but others like him passing the hell out. Because I was like, wait a minute now. If you drain all that to get down that day, and then like think about Jaime McGill. I told y'all his last fight, this was recent. He passed the fuck out. He couldn't even get off the weigh-in table before he passed out. Hold on. So if they going through all that, you know what I'm saying? They going through all that, then I just look at it like uh it might not be a good idea. Because if that was the day of the fight, any doctor with their right mind would have called that fight because he was dehydrated. He didn't even look like himself. How you be so dehydrated you lose your looks? So I understand now, and I'm an advocate. Like I'm totally on board. I ain't say advocate, but I'm totally on board with people doing the weigh in that Friday if they're gonna fight that Saturday, or weigh in that Thursday if they're gonna fight that Friday, or whatever day you're gonna fight the day. Do your weigh ins the day before to give you a chance to acclimate and rehydrate. I'm for it now. Tay said he started at 154, if I'm not mistaken, right? I swear I thought he fought at 147. If you're talking about Jaime McGill, I could have sworn the first time I've ever seen him fight, I could have sworn it was 147. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but this is very interesting. It is all for Charlo. It's for PBC to big up Charlo because Jaime McGill. Yeah, Spencer's always I don't know. Let me not say nothing. I don't know. He probably did start at 154 and went down to 147. But let me not say that. Because I really don't know. I've only known him to be at 147. You know, that's it. I don't know him to be nowhere else. So I would look into that later because I would like to know. Because in my head it's only been 147. But once Charlo makes mincemeat out of this dude, then Charlo will be a unified champion. And guess what? He will be on whose side? PBC side. You couldn't make a change. You had Canelo's in your grip. You had Canelo in the grip, and you couldn't make a fight with Charlo. But you can make a fight with Jaime McGill. Something we ain't even asking. And when I talk about the triangle, the trifecta of the people that Canelo basically said, get off my nuts. He was talking to Charlo, Andre, and Benavidez. And he wasn't talking to Jaime McGill. Because Jaime McGill ain't even tried nothing with no Canelo. So, but PBC took that shit. They know the rumbles. They looking at the articles. They know what's going on in these boxing streets. They know it's the Charlo, Andre, and Benavidez, the hot ticket items. And you gonna take that and you throw in Jaime McGill? Okay, PBC, y'all still doing stupid shit. I see. I just looked it up on BoxRec. Okay, if he was at let's say he was at 156. I guess yeah. Okay. Jaime McGill gonna get destroyed. He not that good. Yeah. He was a beast at 147. You said you talking about Jaime McGill or Earl Spence with this 156? Because let me make sure. If you talking about Spence, I'm like, okay, all right, because I didn't know. But I could have sworn Jaime McGill. I could have sworn I seen him at 147. But either way, you're right. He gonna get destroyed either way. And I went through the trifecta: Charlo, Andre, and Benavidez. He can't beat none of them. Oh, Errol Spence. Cool. I got you. So let me, but that's about it. I don't know where that come from. Y'all hit the like button, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Come on, hit that like button. Lean on the lazy when you step into the square circle. Come on. Stop reckless eyeball. I be seeing y'all out here. I see the numbers go up and down. Hit the like button. Stop being stingy all your life. The House of Commons, the Speaker of the House of Commons to be exact. I'm moving on, y'all. The Speaker of the House of Commons is like saying the Speaker of the House over here. The House of Commons being like our Congress, okay? But in England. Spoke about the Josh Taylor and Catterall fight. And that shit made it to Congress. So I'm going to talk in terms like, it's over here or something. But it made it to Congress for England, which is called the House of Commons. According to Mail Sport, the Speaker of the House sent a letter to, y'all would never believe this shit, to the police. The police is investigating this fucking fight in England. Now, we can say what the hell we want. We can say how we feel and how we see things because we over here in the big US of A. But the US of A is not England, and England is not US of A. They can do things differently. Certain things can carry more weight or whatever. They're not playing with this dude. They done sent this shit to the police to be investigated because money is lost. That is like a robbery. On so many levels, that shit is a robbery. And they don't play that. They may look at shit differently, but if the Speaker of the House, I mean, think about it. If Congress get involved and be like, yo, we need to investigate this person and that person, you just became a hot ticket item. The FBI is soon to follow. We mirror ourselves off of their whole governmental system. Not quite all the way, but similar. We even still have laws in our Constitution that is exactly from theirs. So I don't think that the House of Commons, that's not a crazy group. They are not going to send a letter and have it, pushed for an investigation if they ain't think they could do something. And the police is different from a commission board. Even here, it's different. If the police finds foul play, there's consequences to it. because the value of the foul play that is taking place will determine whether or not it's a felony or misdemeanor, correct? And with said felony, you get said amount of time in jail or fined or what have you. Same thing over there. But they done sent the Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall fight to the to the police. It made it to their Congress, to the Speaker of the House. The Speaker spoke on it and sent an official letter to the police to have them investigated, and they're being investigated. Ain't that some shit? We need to do the same thing. I'll agree with you. We need to have something that has teeth and consequences as all. Because the shit that we do, I'll look at it, and then what? That's your answer for everything. School shootings. Oh, let's pray. And then what? You can't be offering up shit that don't do nothing as the answer to shit. Like, it just don't make sense. And I told you, they was highly upset. Josh Taylor, for him, because he don't want to run it back now. Nigga don't want to run it back. And for him to even entertain the thought that he's gonna run it back, the pressure of it all. It ain't just, it's one thing in these boxing streets with these YouTube content creators, old media, new media, whoever. And then on top of that, like the fans, and then you got the whole country, most of the people who was at that fight. And from what people over there who live over there, I've seen them on a couple of shows, but one came through my show and said that people from Scotland don't believe Josh Taylor won that shit. They're not having it. People from England definitely don't think that Josh Taylor won that. We in America think he won that. So look what he do. He's starting to capitulate. I'll fight him, but at a catchweight. Everything to have a leverage. No need. You gonna fight him at 140 if they don't overturn this decision. Once then we hear the commissions involved, and we was like, oh, ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't nothing gonna happen. But shit, this thing that went to the Speaker of the House and to the police, and the police is going to find foul play, and it can be considered like a felony. I don't know what they call it over there, but it's got to be considered on felony levels, because can you imagine how Jack Catterall's life would have changed had he been awarded his just reward, which is all 4 of them belts. He'd have been an instant millionaire overnight. He would have been in high demand. He'd have been valued, at his value would have shot through the roof, all that. But because of cheating, this man was denied that shit. Hell no. They ain't gonna get away with that shit. And then I told you how it's affecting other fighters. You got Tyson Fury and Dillian White. They not even gonna allow British judges, because they don't want nobody to be in their favoring nobody, as if that's gonna stop cheating. You probably, when you got people like Mauricio Suleiman on the scene, ain't nothing, what can happen. Anything can happen, right? So according to the Mail Sport, the Speaker of the House, like I said, sent the letter to the police to investigate it. Also, the British Boxing Board of Control are conducting investigations into it also. I said also already. It's somebody else too. So what it did, it prevented Catterall from making money. Millions. Also, the Secretary of State for Digital Culture, Media, and Sport is looking into this. Another group, the Minister for Sport, Nigel Huddleston, is looking into this. These are all official people that can have control over these whole boxing events and sanctioning. Because the British have their own sanctioning belts too. They got their own sanctioning belts or sanctioning or championship whatevers that we don't win because we don't go over there and compete for them. But that's what's going on. And I'm very, very, very interested to see how this play out, because I ain't never synced this before. What's your name? Claude. Remember Claude? And she said, I ain't never seen you before. Um, yeah, so that's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, they got the police involved. And either you you was living foul or you won't. Anybody with eyes can see Josh Taylor didn't win. And what did it cost him? Anybody got any common sense of fights, the fight game, can tell you. And if all they gotta do, there's so many people they can go ask and say, what did he lose? He can do a survey from people from 100 people in America, 100 people in Scotland, 100 people in England, 100 people in Australia, like hit every continent and be like, oh, ask people that who's in the box and be like, out of 100 people, what do you lose when you don't win the belts, like in Jack Catterall's place? What did he lose? And everybody gonna say millions. He lost millions. He lost opportunity to make more millions. His value decreased. He has to start all over from scratch in their ranking system because he slipped on that. Yeah. For what? Cheating? Oh, yeah. The police would be like, okay, yeah. You might as well have stole something out of a person, broken somebody's house, stole something out of safe, because that's what it's akin to. So we'll see how that plays out. And then, of course, I told you I'm not poking no bears today, but I will always state facts. Sound like one thing I guess I didn't pick up, or like, because when you know how you go back and look at something, you hear something you didn't hear the first time. So Spence is open to the fight with Keith Thurman. Why I say that is because he's saying stuff like, like if Keith get caught with a good shot, and he'll stand there and fight with you. He's being way too complimentary. And at one time, Spencer said he is not interested in a fight with Keith Thurman. And I think Keith Thurman had the belts when he said this. He's not interested in a fight with him, nor will he ever. But and he doesn't need Keith because Keith has no belts. So, the complimentary stuff, not sure what's Earl doing. I can speculate, but I ain't gonna poke the bear. But I'm gonna just make that a note and put that on the record. I'm marking this time. That's what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. So did we have some good fights last weekend? Like we had some good fights, but the fights were to be expected. And that's all I'm gonna say. Like, hold on. So see if we got anything coming up. So Wood versus Collin, that's coming up this weekend on the Zone, March 12th at 2 p.m. Avanesian versus Mets on BT Sports on the 19th. So the next time we see big fights is gonna be on the 19th. We got one fight coming up this weekend. I don't even know who those folks are. We'll probably check it out. It's on the Zone. But on the 19th, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 fights. Avanesian versus Mets. Baru versus Chavez. This is on. That still doesn't have a network. And then Ortiz Jr. I want to see that one versus McKenzie on the Zone at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Berlanga versus Rowe. I want to see that on ESPN at 10 p.m. So, yeah, those are the fights that's coming up. And it's not much to say today, but when you know better, you do better, right? And remember, I'll be on tomorrow at 7:30. And so y'all be sure to tune in. I don't know if YouTube have fixed that problem, but they keep showing. I put 7:30 p.m. and they'll put in like midnight or 12:30. It's 7:30 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. But remember, when you know better, you do better. Peace.